Welcome to FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast series. Here we talk about all things franchising. What is it all about? Is it for you? How do you find the best one to own? And so much more. Now your host, Tim Parmeter.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the latest edition of FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of FranCoach and your podcast host. Today, we're excited to have one of our franchise partners join us today, and they're going to talk all about their franchise, which is a pretty cool opportunity. It is home-based, has incredibly low overhead, low investment, quick ramp up, multiple products and services that are going to allow you to grow a big business. Sounds pretty cool, right? Before we get to them, always want to do a quick reminder of who we are. FranCoach is a national search firm dedicated to working with individuals like yourself who are interested in owning a franchise. We are partnered with over 600 of the top franchisors in the country, spanning nearly 70 industries. Our goal is to help clients find the absolute best franchise for them to own. And the goal of the podcast is to simply educate you on the amazing opportunities within franchise ownership. That's us. Now let's get to the good stuff. So joining us today with our featured franchise of Gotcha Covered is the president of Gotcha Covered, Mr. Paul Linenberg. Paul, thanks for joining us today.
Tim, thanks for having me today. And I think you said all the great things about Gotcha Covered. So we can be really quick here today. This is awesome.
Yeah, we'll just talk about what other random things and all the fun stuff. So, well, cool. Well, I've got a bunch of questions for you about Gotcha Covered, so we can all learn a little bit more about that.
Right.
But I think the franchising in particular is this is all about people, and so I like to hear everybody's story, how they got into franchising. So maybe just walk us a little bit about like who the heck is Paul, and kind of give us your journey into where you are now with Gotcha.
Yeah, happy to, Tim. So like so many of us, I don't know if you've ever heard a different answer about how people get into franchising, but my answer is accidentally, right? And the longer I'm in franchising, the more I hear this answer, right? Yeah. And so what's great about franchising is you can be whatever you want to be. You can be a franchisor, you can be a franchisee, you can be a coach, someone advising people on how to get into franchising and what's going to be a good fit for them. The role that you serve, Tim, is incredibly important because it's the matching is where the magic happens, right? Where you take someone that maybe they thought about business ownership, maybe a distant thought in their mind. Maybe they just ran into a roadblock or just found themselves at a position or a point in their lives where they're done working for someone else, or they don't have opportunities in the corporate world anymore. And now they think, well, what are my options? And so without ever having thought about that and virtually no knowledge of franchising, someone like you can help them explore their own skill sets and their desires and the things they want to achieve in life, and then present different opportunities that might be a good fit for them. So yeah, franchising is a great world and it's just so much opportunity here for those that are on the outside maybe looking in. I can't encourage, it's not for everybody, but I can't encourage you enough to continue to explore whether franchising is going to be a good fit for you.
Yeah, it's good to hear you're in the club of basically everybody else we've asked that question to, of, you know, like, hey, I just kind of fell into it. It was an accident. It was, I knew nothing about it. And then here we are years later, decades later. Once people get in, they rarely get out. They may move around into different roles within it. But we've really only ever had one person when I asked that question to, it wasn't by accident, but he was born into it. His father had actually started a franchise, like literally back with, and you and I probably know who it is, but like literally back like Ray Kroc, I think he were buddies, right? So like he got born into it, so he didn't have any choice. But everybody else, man, it is something like that. So,
well, the other thing about that too, Tim, is it's super positive, right? So we're all glad we're here, and there's this positive energy and vibe that it exists in franchising because we're all, you know, I don't know, we're just all in the same business of finding wealth and flexibility and lifestyle and all the things that are part of the American and the Canadian dream.
Exactly. So talk to us a little bit about Gotcha Covered, and certainly want to get into the business model and all the things kind of behind the scenes. But let's just talk about it maybe from a consumer's standpoint. what the heck has got you covered? What are you doing? What are kind of the products and services, and who are those customers?
Yeah, well, the name Got You Covered is kind of a play on words, because what we do, our franchise owners serve their communities and provide custom window treatments. So window treatments for the interior of a room for homeowners and businesses in their communities. And what we are, kind of our special sauce, if you will, is we have, number one, a very consultative approach, but we also have a wide range of products that we offer in our business. There's a category called hard treatments, which people would understand as blinds, shutters, right? The hard stuff. And then there's a whole different part of the industry called soft treatments. That's your curtains, your blinds, your draperies. It's not your blinds, but your draperies, things that have fabric to them. Most window treatment companies don't offer soft treatment. So by being a full service company, we can provide solutions for really any homeowner or business owner that has needs to cover their windows. So that's kind of our niche, and we based on our consultative approach, we tend to serve the higher end of the market, those people that have disposable income, that appreciate a high level of service and high quality products.
Awesome. Talk a little bit about the owner, right? So somebody coming in as an owner, do we need to have this amazing, eye for interior design? Do we need to be super handy that we're doing all the work, right? Those are usually kind of the two things that pop up, right, with most any franchise, right? As you chuckle, so dispel that myth for us a little bit for kind of what that owner really does.
Yeah, I can tell this isn't your first rodeo, Tim, because those are the two preconceptions in our business. Is number one, darn it, I have to be a designer, and number two, I have to be handy with a drill. Neither of them are true, of course. So that's, again, the beauty of franchising. We have, when you come to our annual conference and we bring the top performers up on stage, only a couple of them really have any design acumen. Almost nobody has design skills or background in our industry. It's all very learned. It's much more important to be personable, to be outgoing, to find value in building relationships. If you're a relationship-oriented person and you kind of have a high energy and all the other things, a work ethic and proper funding and all those things, that's what it takes to be successful in our business. Not design or handyman skills. There's places for those folks, but that's not a requirement to be very successful at Got You Covered.
Gotcha. Talk then a little bit about kind of some of the support mechanisms. So now somebody comes in and I don't really have much design experience. Okay, great. That's possible. It can be hugely successful with that. But some of the things that Got You Covered is going to do to kind of help that person be successful in the business.
Yeah, our phrase around here is joining Got You Covered is like drinking from a firehouse. And I don't know how widespread that is in franchising. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of companies using that. But, even someone that thinks to themselves, window treatments, like I get that. Like it's easy to understand it and wrap your brain around. But there's still more to it than you would think. And that's something that we hear from owners who have recently or in part of the training and onboarding process. They at some point say to us, wow, this is a lot more than I thought. Even though you told me that, it's still a lot more than I thought. And so we have to guide them. And with any new endeavor, there's no linear path. There's no, 2 follows 1, 3 follows 2. It's you do 1 and then you do 11. Then you come back and do 6 and then you do 13. So because that's just the reality of how you learn, I think most new businesses, we have people that are assigned to be there and hold our new owner's hand. So not only prior to attending training, so there's an onboarding specialist, but then after training, there's a success manager. And so everything we do is guided, because we know that if we just left it up to our owners to find, to follow a checklist, it would be overwhelming. So our success managers have weekly calls with our brand new owners, and that follows up on all the things they learned in training and all the things they need to set up to launch the business. And you can launch a Got You Covered business a few weeks after training, and you can be generating revenue, a month or two, from coming to Denver to meet us and to get trained in our business.
Hey everyone, I wanted to take a quick break from our podcast to tell you about our amazing friends at Entrepreneur. If you're looking to become a franchisee or simply learn more about business ownership, and guys, let's be honest, you're listening to the Franchising 101 podcast, so we know you have some interest in this. And I really encourage you to go to entrepreneur.com to check out all of their great content and resources. Seriously, Entrepreneur has everything, all the way from a bookstore to the best podcasts, webinars, and videos, plus information on upcoming events and the latest articles that seriously, they cover all aspects of franchising and business ownership. If you're having trouble deciding which franchise is right for you, start with Entrepreneur's renowned Franchise 500 ranking, which highlights the best franchises of 2022. For 45 years and counting now, Entrepreneur has been and continues to be the most widely recognized and respected authority in the franchise market. Digital and print subscriptions are available, so you never miss out on anything. So seriously, what are you waiting for? Go to entrepreneur.com right now and learn more. What are some of the things that you need to get started, right? So we're approaching day one. We're gonna need this massive, like 20,000 foot warehouse. We're gonna need 100 employees. Right. Of course, we're going to need none of those things. Right. So what are we looking for? Can we start at home base? Do we need some sort of office? What's kind of that staff look like right off the bat for
we're, when it comes to sort of compliance and structure and rigidity, we're kind of low on that, quite low on the end of that spectrum. We believe that we invite owners into our system who are adults. And we know that they're here for the right reasons and they have the right skill set. And so our job is to guide them into whatever model fits best for them. And I think as a franchise, we have more flexibility than most. You can remain a single owner operator. If that's all you ever want to do. Many of our owners, about 40+%, work with a spouse. So the two work together. Then from there, you can grow. You can add a salesperson, administrative support. You can build a whole structure. And then our most evolved model is a retail storefront. And about, 8 to 10 of our owners have a full-time, like signage and store manager and hours and, all the stuff that is involved in full retail. And we're agnostic, Tim. We don't care. I mean, care only because that's what the owner wants. But if whatever they choose, we're going to support that fully, because it's not about, one thing that's different about Got You Covered is that we have a flat rate royalty, and it's not unique in franchising, but it's quite rare. Right? A few percent of the franchises have a flat rate royalty, and what that does is it means that you get to be what you want at Got You Covered. We're not going to be on you to grow your business unless you want to grow your business, and then we're there to support you every step of the way. But that royalty model does give us some flexibility, and it just kind of changes the dynamics of the franchisor-franchisee relationship. So there's a lot of trust that we have across Got You Covered. We have, in our view, a very special culture. And that's important to some people. It's not important to others. It's really important to us. So that's part of what we're looking for when we are exploring this together with a candidate. Not only are you going to be successful at Got You Covered, but are you a good cultural fit? And that's really the two criteria that we use to evaluate candidates.
Which is, it's super cool that there's that many kind of options within the business. And again, finding that happy spot for the owner, because really at the end of the day, what franchisors want, they want happy franchisees, right? If they're happy at the top and for you guys with the retail model, if they're happy somewhere in the middle and it's just them, you can't, there's not the flexibility to start selling cheeseburgers instead of, window treatments, right? But there's still that flexibility to really kind of build that business with whatever the support that you need.
Yeah, it can happen organically. There's no, you don't have to say what you want to do when you join. Like, you can join and figure it out along the way. And if you want to grow organically, you say, hey, I'm maxed out. I either I'm good here, or I want to grow it to the next level. Like that, you can make those decisions along the way as you see fit.
Yeah, and I think it's a cool distinction from the corporate world, right? So if you have a job and you end the year and you're like, I'm working enough, I'm making enough, I'm pretty good right here.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's great until your boss says, we need 20% more next year, right? We need you to come in on Saturday. We need to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
You don't have that choice, right? As a
That's
franchise
right.
owner, and I'm sure this is no different and got you covered than many others, is some of the happiest owners in franchising are not the top performers, right? Which is sometimes a
Absolutely.
little counterintuitive, but if they're hitting their goals, time they're spending, money they're making, what they're doing, they're happy, you're happy. So that
Well
even
said.
having that little broader range of flexibility for you guys is really cool.
Yeah. Well said. Well said, Tim.
Give us a little understanding of some of the behind the scenes things. You talk about kind of that almost business coach, right, that you're going to have for people when they get started. But some of the things people don't necessarily think about from a franchisor support, right? The marketing, right? Anything that is I'm quite sure there's some sort of design software, right? How we're managing this when we do need to hire people. How do we figure that out? So give us maybe a quick overview of some of the areas that you're helping people with behind the scenes, not just to get going, but to continue to be successful.
Yeah, I'll say at this point, as a mature franchise, right? We've been doing this for many years. We've kind of filled in all of the blanks, all the needs that we think a franchise owner might have, and so we continue to roll out vendor partners. We just had a webinar this week with a vendor that provides gift baskets. So for our owners that want to send a thank you to a client or a referral partner or somebody else, or a happy birthday, whatever, this company has beautiful branded boxes with Gotcha Covered and a variety of price points and things that are inside them. So it's to that level we're at now, right? So 10 years ago we certainly, it was just the basic stuff, but again, because we're evolved and pretty much fully developed, we're doing all those kinds of things. So I would say to someone on the outside looking in, we've got most of those things covered from the corporate perspective. But here's the hidden thing, Tim, I think, in franchising, and we're not alone in this, I'm sure, but Gotcha Covered is one of those franchise systems wherein you benefit from joining Gotcha Covered by connecting with your peers. And for us, and again, many other good franchise systems, that has an incredible value, and you don't really think about it. You think about the training and the proven business model and the marketing, the vendor, all that stuff. But most people don't think about having access to, for us, 160, 170 experts in our field that are culturally built to and encouraged, and it's just who we are. We support each other. So part of what corporate has done over the years is just created those channels for our owners to nurture those relationships by themselves, right? It's not dictated by corporate, but we create the infrastructure. So a Facebook page is one of our most common ones. Our owners are talking to each other every single day. Hey, here's a situation. Here's a picture. What did you guys do for this? Any suggestions? I need to match this fabric. Here's a picture of my completed project. Hey, is anybody going to conference? Can we share a ride? Just all kinds of stuff. And we have a lot of different things. We have the Facebook group. We have an annual conference. We have several advisory panels. We have monthly calls from a variety of topics and groups. And so all of that is designed to help our owners connect to each other and learn from each other, because there's a franchise owner hearing something from corporate, it means something. But when they hear it from their peer, it means a lot more. And thankfully, we don't have an ego around here that doesn't bother us. But it's the way we want it, because at the end of the day, we care most about our franchise owner success. So a good franchise system should have all those things in place, not just at the corporate level, but should have a positive, mutually supportive attitude and culture across the franchise base.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because most people don't think of the potential to have a collaborative group of franchise owners, right? And especially for a system that's been around as long with as many franchise owners, right? Like, hey, I just ran across this today. Well, there's going to be somebody within Gotcha Covered that's going to go, aha, yeah, we did that. Right. This is what we did, right?
That's right.
And I think it also speaks to the culture, and it's not a right or wrong, because not every franchise is going to try to foster that type of collaboration, right? If that's not important to you, like, I'm just going to sit over here in my silo and do my thing and I don't want to talk to anybody, well, this might not be the group, and that's okay too, right? But it really makes a difference to, again, just speak to the quality and really that's kind of focus you guys have on everybody being super successful. So I love that.
Yeah.
Last thing, Paul, and I'll let you roll. So it's a little open-ended, but I know there's probably a ton of things you could answer or ways you could answer this question, but is there anything else about Gotcha Covered that you would want to make sure that we left today, making sure that we already know?
Boy, you just teed me up, Tim. Thank you so much. I've got 25 minutes of content over here. Some notes. Do you mind if I just riff on this for a half hour? So
bring them on. Yeah, it's all good.
Well, since it's just you and I chatting here, there's something that we're pretty proud about at Gotcha Covered. We don't operate from ego, so I just want to give credit where it's due, and it's not on me for what I'm about to share with you. But one of the things that we think is pretty special about Gotcha Covered is our online reputation. And it's something that we've known about for 6 or 7 years. It's the first time we tracked it 6 or 7 years ago. And back then we saw that our online reputation with I don't know, 1,000 or so online reviews was a 4.9 out of 5 stars. And so when we first learned about that, we were pretty excited, and we shared that internally. And it was very exciting because before that, I thought we were pretty special, and so did our franchise owners. But to see that number, like right there, like, okay, like this validates what we think we're about. But I was a dummy, Tim. I was like, okay, that's great, but I'm not, like, we're not going to do a whole lot with this because I don't want to go start touting the 4.9 only to see it go the only possible way it can go, which is down, right? So it was so for years we're like, okay, yeah, we're still 4.9, and then 2 or 3 years ago we rebranded, new website and everything, and marketing materials, and it finally dawned on me, we still had a 4.9. It just dawned on me, you know what? This is not a fluke. This is who we are, and this is Gotcha Covered. And so from that point on, we started, like, it's prominent on our website and all of our marketing materials. And so we're proud about it because we think it's hard enough to get a 4.9 with just one location, but to do it across 160, 170 locations across all time. Like, I'm not aware, and maybe, God, I'd love to hear if there's any other franchise system our size that has this reputation. I would love to hear about it because it's extraordinary in the real sense of that word. And again, I'm not taking credit for it because it's really belongs to our franchise owners, who they're the ones that earn the reputation. They're the ones that are out there taking care of their clients, earning their trust and respect, and doing good work in their communities. And I do think there's an element, like, I think that's a good proxy for not just our franchise owners doing well, but they have to be trained. We have to have good marketing and good technology. So I think that's a good proxy for, like, hey, how is Gotcha Covered overall? And I think that speaks pretty well to us. But again, our owners are in the trenches. Home services, it doesn't take much to exceed expectations, right? Because our expectations are so low, right? But if you come in and are just diligent, you work hard, and you truly care about serving the needs of the client, we would welcome you to Gotcha Covered, knowing that you're going to contribute to this rather than detract from it, because this has a lot of value over the life of Gotcha Covered. And so that's why the caliber of the people we let into the system remains high. And we could lower the bar and double the size of Gotcha Covered very quickly, but we're not willing to do that because we think that our reputation has so much untapped potential and value long term.
Yeah, no, and I think it does to a lot of things, but the quality of people. I think the time and effort you guys are taking to vet people also to make sure it really is the right person to come into your system, and not just, do you have a pulse and can you
right.
give me the franchise fee?
Right.
And I think that collaborative nature within the franchise, because I would assume if somebody comes in and all of a sudden they're getting 3-star reviews, you're going to have 175 franchise owners all going, hey, let's get in line. And I don't know very many things out there. Like, it could be some high-end resort. It could be something, on Amazon, whatever. There are not many things that are going to have a 4.9. I'm quite sure if you ask my wife to give a review of me, it wouldn't be anywhere near 4.9, right? So it's really amazing what you guys have done with that. So I'm glad you. I was kind of hoping you would bring that up as a thing, because I've been blown away by like really, right? And then you continue to see it every place across the board. So kudos to you guys for having such an amazing culture and amazing service. So
thanks, Tim. I appreciate it.
And thank you, Paul, for coming on board to talk to us today. It's been good to hear your story and definitely learn a lot more about Gotcha Covered.
Well, thanks for having me, Tim. Gosh, good luck the rest of this year. I look forward to staying in touch, and to all the listeners out there, keep going down the road and see if this is right for you. And good luck to everybody.
Yeah, and as Paul said, keep going and start with, let's get on the phone. FranCoach.net, franchising101podcast.net. As always, there's never any fee for our service. Listening and watching the Franchising 101 podcast, you know you're interested, let's chat. Thanks for everybody for tuning in as always, and we look forward to chatting with you very soon. Thanks so much, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast, where our ultimate goal is to help educate you on all things franchising so you can create your better tomorrow.